New Deep Dive.
So how do you reinvent a behemoth, especially in an industry that's facing, an almost existential shift? What happens when a global giant like WPP, the world's second biggest advertising firm, finds itself not just at a crossroads, but maybe even fighting for its future? Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving headfirst into this, seismic leadership change at WPP. They've just named Cindy Rose as their new CEO. And look, this isn't just shuffling the deck chairs. It feels much more like a strategic gamble, right? A direct response to this huge artificial intelligence wave that's completely redefining advertising as we know it, our mission today. To really unpack who Cindy Rose is, understand the intense pressures that WPP is grappling with right now, and figure out how her appointment could potentially redefine not just WPP's path, but maybe the whole advertising industry. So, yeah, it should be a fascinating conversation.
It really should. And what's truly striking here is WPP's official announcement about Cindy Rose taking the CEO role starting September 1st. It landed with this kind of double impact. First, she's the first woman ever to lead WPP. Ever. That's huge in itself. But second, it's a massive break from their tradition. They almost always promoted from within for that top job.
That is a huge statement, isn't it? It basically shouts, we need something radically different now. But what makes this timing even more, urgent, maybe even a bit audacious, is that the news dropped just one day after WPP issued a profit warning. They actually lowered their Q2 organic revenue forecast. They're expecting a decline of 5.5% to 6%. And for you listening, that word organic is key. It means revenue from their existing clients and any new business wins is actually shrinking. It's not just about selling off parts of the company.
Exactly. And that's not just a small dip, is it? It points to a more fundamental, maybe even a crisis of relevance for WPP's older ways of doing things.
Yeah.
It really screams that they need to reinvent themselves fast or, face falling further behind in a market where speed and hyper-personalization, all driven by AI, are now the name of the game. So Mark Reed, who's been CEO for 7 years and with WPP for, over 30 years, he's stepping down. He'll stick around to support the transition until the end of the year. He put out a statement saying, after 7 years as CEO, I know I'm leaving WPP in excellent hands. But those hands are definitely inheriting a really turbulent situation.
Turbulent feels like an understatement, maybe? WPP's been struggling financially, let's be honest. Their stock, it's plummeted, down over 50% since Mark Reed took over as CEO back in 2018. I mean, a 50% stock drop for a company of WPP's size, it's not just a number on a screen, is it? It's a massive wake-up call demanding some kind of radical change.
And it's not just the financials. They've lost some huge, really key accounts. Think Mars. Think U.S. media business for Coca-Cola. Losing clients like that, it's not just about the lost revenue. It signals a real erosion of confidence, from brands that used to really rely on WPP's traditional muscle in media buying and big campaigns.
Yeah, that's a strategic blow. It hits their market perception hard and their ability to pull in new business. And what's more, WPP has been really underperforming in North America. That's such a critical market for any global ad firm. It tells you something that Cindy Rose is apparently going to split her time between London and New York specifically to deal with this, which, immediately makes me wonder, how fast can she possibly turn around these really deep-seated problems while also dealing with this intensifying competition, especially with AI changing everything?
And that's where Cindy Rose herself, becomes the core of the story. She's 59. She comes with this really extensive experience, 9 years at Microsoft, where she was the COO for global enterprises. Now, that's not just an impressive line on a CV. It feels almost tailor-made for where WPP finds itself right now.
Okay, but how does being a COO at Microsoft, focused on global enterprises and AI, directly translate? How does that prepare someone for the unique world of a global advertising agency? It feels like a bit of a jump, but WPP clearly sees a very direct link.
Well, she was right there at the forefront, helping massive international companies use AI and other digital tech to fundamentally transform their businesses. The WPP chairman, Philip Jansen, actually said, and I'm quoting here, Cindy supported digital transformation of large enterprises around the world, including implementing AI to create new customer experiences, business models, and revenue streams. So her expertise isn't just knowing about AI, it's about using it to actually make a difference to the bottom line.
Right, that makes a lot more sense. Deployment, not just theory. And her background isn't just Microsoft, is it? She's had big roles at Vodafone, Virgin Media. She spent 15 years at Disney, so she gets large, complex businesses. She understands their digital needs across lots of different sectors. But maybe the most strategic part of this whole thing is her prior connection to WPP. What kind of insight does that give her that a complete outsider wouldn't have?
That's absolutely key, I think. She's not coming in completely cold. She's been an independent board member at WPP since 2019. That means she already has this crucial kind of intimate knowledge of how the company works, its internal culture, its client relationships. That's a huge advantage. Rose herself even said something like, WPP is a company I know and love not only for my 6 years on the board, but also as a client and partner for many years before that.
Mm-hmm.
And she specifically pointed out WPP's, quote, market-leading AI capabilities and unrivaled creative excellence.
Ah, so she's not just a tech expert, she's an insider tech expert, someone who can maybe bridge that gap and that alignment, that connection between her deep AI knowledge and WPP's, frankly, desperate need to make money from their AI investments, like the WPP Open platform. That becomes really critical, doesn't it? What exactly is WPP Open, for those who haven't heard of it?
Right, so WPP Open isn't just some piece of software. It's their big generative AI hub. It's designed to do things like rapidly produce ad creative, optimize how money is spent across hundreds of digital channels, and give real-time feedback on how campaigns are doing. Apparently, it already supports nearly 50,000 employees around the world. So Rose's challenge really is to pivot WPP, move them from mainly selling people's time, human hours, to selling the speed, the precision, the data-driven smarts that something like WPP Open can deliver.
Which brings us right to the heart of WPP's gamble, and maybe Cindy Rose's unique advantage. This absolutely staggering transformation happening in advertising because of artificial intelligence, a transformation she's apparently been right in the middle of for years. We're talking about a market projected to hit, what, $1.5 trillion by 2030? All powered by AI. That number is just mind-boggling.
It really is. And this isn't just about, automating simple tasks. AI is fundamentally changing the whole connection between brands and consumers. Think about hyper-personalization. It's way beyond just showing ads based on what you bought last week. We're talking about AI models using predictive analytics, finding really subtle patterns across enormous amounts of data browsing history, real-time location, you name it. You'll figure out the exact micro moment you might be open to a certain message, maybe even before you consciously realize you need something.
Wow. So shifting from these broad brush campaigns to these ultra-precise, perfectly timed interventions, that is incredibly powerful. And this whole AI advertising ecosystem is just popping up, right? Where AI handles everything from creating the content to tweaking campaigns on the fly. It's no surprise then that something like 80% of marketers think AI is going to radically change digital advertising in just the next, 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely. AI gives you tools to automate bidding strategies, figure out the best way to spread your budget across different platforms, even generate ad creatives. And yes, this definitely leads to more efficiency, better return on investment. But here's the really crucial point, I think. Industry leaders keep emphasizing that you still need human creativity. They're really effective agencies. They aren't just swapping people for AI.
Right. Instead, they're changing how their teams work. They're trying to combine that tech precision with human strategic thinking, human oversight. But can WPP, just given its sheer size, its deeply ingrained creative culture, can they reskill 50,000 people fast enough to really take advantage of something like WPP Open? Or does their size actually become a disadvantage against smaller, nimbler, maybe AI native competitors? That feels like the critical gamble here.
It absolutely is, because the goal isn't just making things cheaper or faster. It's about creating ads that are genuinely more engaging, more personalized.
Right.
And that needs the nuance, the insight, the storytelling ability that humans bring, guiding the AI, finding that compelling idea that the AI can then scale or amplify.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for WPP and I suppose for us watching the industry? Cindy Rose's appointment, her deep tech background, it's clearly aimed at steering WPP through these really tough challenges by grabbing onto the potential of AI. This isn't just a new face in the corner office. It feels like a fundamental strategic pivot for the whole company, a bold bet on a future where tech and human creativity have to work together.
Definitely. This transition, it's a really significant moment for WPP, yes, but it also reflects this much wider shift in the entire industry towards an AI-centric future. It's a future where, human creativity and technological precision can't just sit side by side. They have to genuinely redefine each other.
Which leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? As AI keeps reshaping not just advertising, but so many industries, How will that delicate balance between automation and human ingenuity evolve? And what kinds of new roles, new skills will emerge for us in this increasingly technological landscape? Something to ponder as the ad world and many others continue to transform at, well, lightning speed.
Subscribe to New Deep Dive